Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time for Jonathan. Thank you so much. And for those interested in requesting any type of reviews or re-reviews or commentary or topic or reaction or whatever the case may be, video game playthrough, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. So this is for the 2014 Tusk. And I've seen this once before. It was as bad as I remember it. This is in the midst of Kevin Smith's pot upheaval in his brain. Pretty much what happened was he was doing his podcast named SModcast with him and his producer friend Scott Bozier. And pretty much what happened was, I'm trying to remember what they had done a podcast about, he had seen something where you get free living at a lodge if you're dressed as a walrus. And as he's smoking his pot in the studio, he thought this was very funny, and it literally went on this like hour pot laughing, entertain no one but himself about how far, like, what if he did this and what if he did that. And so this was made over a pot smoking podcast, an idea he got when he was high. Don't smoke and write. Don't drink and drive, don't smoke and write. It's 100 minutes of this shitty guy, played by Justin Long, being turned to a walrus by a psycho asshole, played by Michael Parks. That's your movie. Now, what about that is funny or entertaining for 100 minutes? I have no idea. But this is how what happened to Kevin Smith. A guy who was talented, writing and directing Clerks and Chasing Amy and Mallrats and Dogma. And then to do this and Yoga Hosers and Clerks 3. You're like, really? Really? Why? So Justin Long, who I liked as an actor. I liked him in Live Free or Die Hard. I liked him in other movies. And it's not his fault. He's playing a character of the Nazi Party, N-O-T-S-A-E, but if you say request is Nazi Party, because he's part of a podcast that is very shock jock podcast, and he does it with Haley Joel Osment from The Sixth Sense, who has gotten, a bit bigger since then. And we get snippets of this podcast. I'm sitting there going, why the hell is this podcast popular? With what they discuss and how they discuss, what makes this popular? But apparently they're very popular. And they had seen a video about a guy with a sword who accidentally cut his leg off. And number one, the effects look total trash. If you saw this video, you would go, wow, that's some really shit CGI. But no, this is meant to be something that really happened. And these two guys laugh about it. And they think it's funny. And they call him the Kill Bill guy. The guy was doing the sword, he actually cut his leg off. And so we now have two scumbags that I don't care what happens to them. I don't care if they live, if they die, they get hit by a bus, fucked by a chicken. I don't care what happens to them. So Justin Long decides, I need to go see this guy in person, interview him. I need to know everything about him. I want to know what he jerks off to. I'm sitting there going, why? But it's part of his wannabe shot jock. Which I don't even know what Kevin Smith was commenting on, because even his podcast was not like this. So I don't even know. You think a guy who did podcasts would know how podcasts would work that is successful, but I don't know what this Nazi party. So, guy goes to Canada. You get a lot of bad Canadian jokes. People going a boot, like Yoder hosers later on. A boot. Sorry, a boot that. Or a guy talking about how he doesn't like hockey, so the Canadian gets pissed off. So when he gets there, he finds that the kid has killed himself. And such a great guy, he talks about how, well, this guy's so selfish. He talks to a few. Tim Smith put his daughter in it, put Johnny Depp's daughter in it as two people that own a store. They would later be the stars of one of the worst comedies I've ever seen called Yoga Hosers. Sorry about that. And he sees a flyer about stories to tell. Just please, if you want to come by, I have some nice stories to tell. A lot of stories to tell. So Justin Long stupidly goes, I'll just check this guy out. You don't know anything about him. So he's an idiot. He's a moron. He just jumps into it. You don't know a fucking thing about this guy. You don't know what he looks like. You know nothing about him, but whatever. He goes there, and it's Michael Parks. Now, Michael Parks is a good actor. May he rest in peace. I get why Kevin Smith would cast the guy. Cast him in Red State, cast him in this movie, just let him talk. Here's the problem. Michael Parks is a good actor, but you need to guide him and direct him. Kevin Smith just goes, just say this, and everything's golden, now just listen. No, like, Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino used him well in From Dusk Till Dawn because he had fun things for him to say and knew how to guide him. Among other movies, utilizing Michael Parks. And gave him something worth his shit to say. Here, Michael Parks talking about how, always do sober what you do drunk. Tells a story about Ernest Hemingway. And then starts telling the story of this walrus. He was shipwrecked, and this walrus saved him while lost at sea. And he would call the walrus Mr. Tusk. And Kevin Smith puts his jokes in there, like there's something on the wall. Justin Long looks like he looks at it as a walrus cock, aid of sexual intercourse. And Justin Long keeps playing with the walrus cock. This is the type of humor we have in the movie. His teeth spiked. He's knocked out. He wakes up. His leg is gone. Michael Parks says, "Oh, the spider got you." Sooner or later, he figures out Michael Parks is lying. Michael Parks is mocking him. And the rest of the movie is just flashbacks of how much Justin Long's a prick. His podcast, which sucks. Haley Joel Osment's cheating on him. I mean, he's cheating on Justin Long's girl because Justin Long treated his girl like shit. And the girl didn't feel loved. So then Haley Joel Osment starts fucking his best friend's girl. Instead of having the guts to just call it off or just say, hey, break up with Justin Long and get with me, they do it behind his back, so hard to give a shit about anybody in this scenario. Justin Long had cheated on her. And this process of Justin Long being turned to a walrus. His other leg's cut off, his skin stretched. And when you see it, it looks goofy as hell. It looks goofy as shit. So, I don't think it's funny enough to laugh at. I don't think it's horrific enough to go, ew. It's more like, really? This is my reaction. Okay, it's a guy with like this walrus makeup effects, and it just looked goofy. So it goes from Justin Long acting like a walrus in this walrus skin suit, Michael Parks talking to him like a walrus, or Haley Joel Osment and the girl finding this French detective played by Johnny Depp, who gives one of his worst performances, is saying dialogue like, "He is so close that I can almost smell his shit." It's like a guy trying to purposely make a cult film and failing. Because a lot of those cult films were made on accident. Or they made the film on a genuine level and it later on became a cult film. Here, there's no witty satire. It's really not that funny. There's no entertaining jokes. There's no likable characters. You either get an unlikable douchebag played by Justin Long who gets what he deserves, a psycho Michael Parks that is a good actor, but what he's given to say is just nonsensical or boring, not interesting. Dialogue's not memorable. A French detective who is so over the top, it's so cartoonish that it's just more irritating than anything. So what the fuck? So then, spoiler, Justin Long, Michael Parks puts on a costume of his own and says, "Allow my friend the fighting chance he never had," because he's so sad that his friend Mr. Tusk had died. So I guess, like, in a way, he wants someone to possibly kill him or whatever. So what happens, Justin Long takes the tusk, stabs Michael Parks' foot, and then stabs the shit out of him. They find Justin Long. I guess they've taken him back. I guess there's no way to do any surgery to fix him. I mean, although... I mean, anything's possible, let's be honest. What can be done can be undone, just will take a lot of money and time. But whatever. I guess Justin Long never finds out that, these two were, your friend was cheating with your girlfriend. We hear something about how what separates from the animals and people is the ability to cry. So Justin Long's looking up, he cries. Then he looks at the camera. I'm sitting there going, why is he looking at the camera? Like, do you get it? Almost as if Kevin Smith had this supposed deep idea. Oh, by the way, do you get it? What it means? Are you sure? Like, yeah, I get it, Kevin. You suck now as a writer and director. And I wish you would retire. And never do anything again. You used to be worth a shit, now you just dog shit. You used to have a lot of respect for the guy, now he's a tool for Hollywood. He's lost his talent. And Clerks 3, man. I just keep thinking of that movie. That was the last movie he did. I'm like, you... Spoiler for that movie. You kill off Dante. You make Randall. You tape back his character arc from Clerks 2. And you retroactively make him even worse than he was in Clerks 1. So you make him such an unlikable D-bag. You kill off Dante and pretty much tell him, yeah, there's no way you can have a happy life. Just give up on life. Don't fight for your life. Give up on it on this hospital bed. You killed off his wife and baby before the movie starts in Clerks 3. And the rest of his like lame jokes about NFTs or do you remember Clerks 1? Do you remember Clerks 1? Do you remember Clerks 1? Yeah, I do. I could just rewatch it. It got it right there. It's sad watching films like this. I'm not a fan of Red State. I'm not a fan of this movie. Yoga Hosers, like I said, is one of the worst comedies I've ever seen. I hate Clerks 3. I did not like Jay and Silent Bob reboot. I mean, hell, I could watch Jersey Girl, as flawed as that movie is, over the stuff he puts out nowadays. And that's not even that great of a movie. It's very mediocre, but I would rather watch that than this shit. And I don't know what he's gonna do. I'm sure he's gonna make a Clerks 4, which is weird because one of the Clerks is dead. Or he's gonna do what was he gonna do, that Moose Jaws movie? Fuck up more He-Man. I don't know, whatever he's doing. I don't like. Okay, what does this say, Kevin Smith? What are you doing? I'm just curious. I should not care. I don't even know. I don't even know. It's funny that he got mad at people yelling about He-Man, but he called this Paul Thomas Anderson movie cinematic root canal. So you're open to calling movies like that back in the day, but yeah, I don't even know. Was there a movie he did that was only available on NFTs? Good. That means I don't need to see it. Anyway, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.